Amber, what's good?
What up, man? Back in the building.
We're back. Dynasty Show, Sunday nights. Kev's up in here already. What up, Kev? Here every Sunday. Appreciate you, brother.
That's what I'm talking
Here with
about.
you. The Rams trading Ramsey. Do you sense a rebuild, retool in LA? Um, it's possible. I mean, there was the talks of trading Matt Stafford. That was like a few days ago. Then they said that wasn't true. So I don't know. I don't know what to believe really. I mean, you've got Cup. You've got at least a good offense, I would think. So I guess I would just ride it out with Cup and Stafford. I mean, you guys, won the Super Bowl. I don't know how many players we've lost since then, but I don't know. What do you think, Hammer?
Yeah, I think potentially it can be a rebuild, but like you said, I like to think of it more as a retool. I think they saw the decline in Jalen Ramsey, and they were probably like, "Hey, if we could get something for an aging corner who the last couple of times we've seen him on a big stage, he's getting barbecued." Um,
Mm-hmm.
I think they'd rather put those funds elsewhere. I don't know what the cap hit is like. I don't know how his contract is structured, but I think they're just looking at it as, hey, we went all in, so maybe now let's retool. If you do have Stafford and Cup, like you said, and Sean McVay, I don't think you're rebuilding per se, because I don't think Sean McVay would have came back if it was a full-on rebuild. So we'll see what they do in free agency. I know their draft capital is probably virtually nil with all the with all the guys they've acquired over the last 2 to 3 years. So it'll be interesting to see what they do in free agency. And then heading into the season. But that's a tough division as it's stacking up. You know what I mean? Obviously, you got San Francisco, you got Seattle, you got the Rams, Arizona. We'll see what that looks like with a new head coach. So very interesting to see, how the Rams situation plays out. But you got a veteran quarterback, you got a pretty much an all-pro wide receiver, and you got to see what happens.
I mean, I think they feel. I mean, especially without the picks, I think they feel like if we're not close to winning it, like what are we doing? So we might as well maybe get as much as we can for Stafford. So I would think that even though they might not want to trade Stafford, it would be smart to at least test the market and see like what teams are willing to give you for him. So
Yeah.
I think that's probably what they did. Just trying to test the market, see what's good. Really price check and trade
Mm-hmm.
ideas. Feel like his stock has rocketed up. I want to sell, but I want to max out. Yeah, I mean, stock is starting to go up. People are starting to like him a little bit more, of course, as we get closer to the season. And he's talking shit now. Oh, I'm gonna give 1,400 yards a season or whatever he's
Is he
saying.
really?
Yeah, he said that. He's like, I'm gonna give y'all 1,400 yards, and I'm like, bro, let's stop with the betting and
Get on the
let's
field
not
and
bet.
start producing, and then
Let's not bet on it. But I mean, it's definitely in the range of possibilities. But yeah, I would say if you want to max out, you still got to hold. You just got to be patient. Like now is not it's not the time yet, unless you get some kind of crazy offer. But yeah, I would think that if you wait longer, there's going to be a window that opens up where you can get max value. I don't think that's yet, but what do you think? What you think, Hammer?
yeah, honestly, I mean, I'm a keep on Ridley. I do think he can help your team. Depends on if you get blown out of the water with a deal, then listen, if somebody gives you a first round pick and a player, a solid young player, like one of those rookie second year guys, then maybe, if somebody's offering you, say the 1-3 in a super flex, or the 1-4 in a non super flex.
Yeah, I
You
don't
got to
know
see
if you
what
could
that.
get. Yeah, I don't know if you could get that high, but if that is offered, yeah, is that enough? Is that enough? Like, what is enough for you, Kev? For you to max out, what do you feel like would be max
So
value?
a really interesting we did last on Thursday with the 420 hustler that I kind of like to do, being able to like gauge people's value, is kind of set a benchmark of what we think the value is of that guy and then work from there. All right, so would you give up, the 1-5? Yes, I would. Okay, would you give up the 1-4? No, I wouldn't. Like certain things like that. I think that's a really solid way to kind of gauge, obviously what we would do. And then in terms of, the viewers out there and the listeners, what you would do. So that's a really good way to look at it, is start, doing hypothetical trade scenarios yourself and say, hey, would I give up this? Yes. Am I willing to give up this? Yes. Am I willing to give up? No. And then see where that line is that you draw for that particular player, that particular pick, whatever the case may be. So I think that's a really good way of trying to benchmark it, to see what you're willing to give up versus where you draw the line on certain players and picks.
Yeah, I think with the quarterbacks that are there, I think you have to say at least at most I'd probably give up, or at least, how do I say it? I guess the 106 is like a really good benchmark of, okay, would you rather have the 106 or DJ Moore, Ridley. I mean, Ridley is a little bit older, don't forget too. So I think that I'd be okay with giving up probably the 106, 107. That'd probably be the highest range. Now, I don't want to pay that. I'm not saying to go out and pay that for Ridley, but if you're in a situation where, you are in that win now, you need that one more piece, then, I guess for me, that would kind of be the area. Maybe a little bit later, maybe 108. I mean, it's rough because of the age, but he also hasn't played, so he doesn't have as much mileage in a good situation. So, I'm willing to take the chance on that rather than anything else with, after the QBs as far as the, and JSN. So maybe the 10, yeah, it's got to be the 106, 107 range.
Yeah. And then I think also too, for a guy like Ridley, his style of play, he's not a physical type guy. He didn't really take a ton of hits, his first couple years in Atlanta. So I think his shelf life is a lot longer, even though, like we did say, he is 27. So, what do we feel like his shelf life is? Is it 5 more good, kind of all pro-ish type seasons? Is it 4? What do we say? We said he's 27, right?
I would say he's 28, I think. So I would say 2 to 3, just to be safe. Now, he can do more than that, of course, but let's just put him in that 2 to 3 year window, with some of these other guys like, like Diggs and that's what I would say probably. Put him in that 2 to 3
Yeah,
year
I mean,
window.
I think I like him for a little bit more of an extended window than 2 to 3. I mean, if you're talking about max value, yeah, obviously once we get into that age, once we get into that age 30 season, then like you said, the drop off starts to happen, and you're just like, am I willing to ride it out, or do I want to get some value? Say he has a monster year this season, helps you win the ship or at least get there. Now you can kind of capitalize on that value, as you like to say, where it's probably not going to be as high. So it really depends on what situation your particular team is in. I really do like him and his situation, especially over the next year or two with Trevor Lawrence, with a nice young quarterback who's ascending. They got the weapons there. They franchise tagged Evan Ingram, so it looks like they're bringing pretty much the entire band back. So, and I'm sure they're going to have cap money because they didn't, they haven't had to pay their quarterback yet, which is always key. So I'm sure they could shore up maybe that offensive line. Maybe they'll try and shore up the defense a little bit. So the Jaguars definitely trending up, in my estimation.
We got a question here on Instagram. Should I give up CD for the 101? Matt, is this super flex or 1 QB? Just give me a little bit more context if you can. But should I give up CD, and how many starters? Should I give up CD for the 101? Already have Garrett Wilson, Pittman, and Pickens, but I need a running back. Somebody says, I wouldn't if I were you. Get the generational talent in Bijan. I'd be getting Bijan in this. It's a 1 QB. How many starters? Like, how many offensive players are you starting? Is two wide receivers, 2 flexes? Like, is it 10 overall, 9, 8? I love CeeDee Lamb, especially in Dynasty. We want to build around those wide receivers. With Bijan is going to be a young, generational talent that is coming in. Super flex, I would rather have CD than I would Bijan. Maybe not everybody may not agree with that, but what do you think, Hammer?
It's tough because who did he say his other wide receivers were? Garrett Wilson. Who else?
I'm not crazy in love with Pittman or Pickens. I mean, they're okay, but CD is going to give you, a bunch of years of elite wide receiver, production. Not that Bijan's
Yeah.
not going to give you elite running back production, uh, but yeah, how many starters, Matt? So when I say that, like one QB, two wide receivers, three wide receivers. What is it? Two flexes, three flexes. So we're starting like an overall on offense 9 or 10 or 8. Like the lower it is, like if it start 8 or 9, I'd probably rather have Bijan. That's going to be really close. But if it's super flex and if it start 10 or even 9, I think I'd rather have CD Lamb.
Hang on, give me one second.
Because don't forget now, you've got a team there with, like if Pittman is just a wide receiver 2, and if Pickens is just a wide receiver 3, or at best a wide receiver 2. Like if Bijan gets hurt, because all these running backs get hurt, like you put all the value that you had in CD, you transfer now to the running back position, and if Bijan gets hurt, then you don't have much value on your squad at that point. So it's just it's rough. But I think I'd rather have CD. I'm not a running back guy, but what about you, Hammer? What are you doing?
Yeah, and we tend to forget CD's been in the league for quite some time now. I think he's going into his 4th year, so
I think he's only
maybe even
23, though,
5th,
right? How old
right?
is he?
And he's still super young, so
And he's on a top 5 offense every single year.
yeah. So I mean, if I could give up, and I was asking you before, I think it cut out a little bit. I couldn't really hear the other wide receivers. I heard you say Pittman, Garrett Wilson,
Pickens.
Pickens. So that's tough. I think I'd hold on to CD there just because he is so young and he kind of is established as one of those top guys. You want to hold on to those guys. Those are guys you want to build around, not trade away, in my estimation.
Yeah.
But the 101 does make it enticing. That's because you're kind of resetting the clock on a young stud, and But if it's a young stud running back, then it limits your window where CD could play for the next 8 years
Well,
at a high level.
How about you give up Pittman and Pickens and go get? Can you give up Pittman and Pickens, both of those guys, and get Bijan? I'd do that. This way, then you keep CD and Garrett Wilson.
Yeah, CD's going into his 4th year. He's only 23.
I'd rather do that. Or you can go buy Bijan afterwards. Obviously the hype is crazy right now. He costs a lot, but what if he does get hurt? Then you can buy him for cheaper. What if he isn't doing as good? Maybe you can buy him for cheaper.
Like a Brees,
like Brees Hall.
Like a Brees Hall situation.
A lot of people were off of Brees Hall at first because he wasn't like the bona fide starter coming in.
And he went to the Jets.
So it was just, But yeah, I think I'm gonna hold on to CD there. Because you can probably find or pay cheaper for another running back that'll put up, 70% of what Bijan would, but you'd be able to still keep your CD. Yeah, the 1.7 I would smash if someone came with that, or a decent young wide receiver. I doubt you'll get a young wide receiver. That's going to be the rough part, is you're probably not going to get that. But for the pick, yeah. But that's the thing. That's best. But case, also, best case scenario is 1.6, 1.7. I don't know if somebody's actually going to want to actually give that up, but that's like best case. So let's just be realistic. It's probably a late first is what you're probably looking at right now.
And also, too, Kevin, you can always hang on to him. And if he just goes nuts during the season and you want to come off of him, say mid-season, whenever, I don't know if there's a trade deadline, you can always wait for his value to increase during the season, because I'm sure he'll have maybe a 2 or 3 game stretch where he goes nuts. Somewhere there in the middle of the season, somebody's hurting for a wide receiver, or maybe somebody just is absolutely in love with Calvin Ridley, and they offer you a decent return. So you got options there, because I think he is a valuable asset. It's just what somebody's willing to give up.
Yeah. Thielen, I know, man. I know. But it was just time. I mean, he wasn't as involved in the offense anymore. We had TJ Hawkinson come in. And
he's older, bro. He just 33.
Costs too much money at this point. I think he'll be better off on a playoff somewhere else, like on a playoff team where he's got a decent role, or a team that needs a wide receiver.
Yeah, he's a wide receiver 3 now.
You
Touchdown
know,
dependent wide receiver
so
3.
it's just it's tough. But that's the business aspect of it. I get it. Love me some
Mm-hmm.
Thielen, but thanks for what he's done. Time to move on, brother. Madness Pass,
Mm-hmm.
what's up? Thanks for tuning in, man. 106 and Kamara or DeAndre Swift, Hollywood Brown, a 24 third, 12 team super flex. 106 and Kamara or Swift, Hollywood, and a third.
12-team super flex. Okay.
Kamara is almost worth nothing.
Yeah.
So
And he's facing charges now. That's a tough one.
this one is rough because Swift. I mean, the perceived value is high. He's on the last year of that contract. So what's going to happen after that? Is he still going to Is he still going to keep getting those limited touches, or is he going to get work? But Hollywood is
I
probably
think I
worth
would.
a late first. So I think I would probably take the Swift Hollywood because you could probably flip that for more than the 106 or something equivalent to that. I think. What about you?
Yeah, yeah, I'm leaning that way as well, and for all the reasons you said. Plus, I think there's more upside with Swift and Hollywood than there it would be with the 106 and Camara at this particular juncture, and you're getting a 2024 third. I mean, I know that's not crazy value, but yeah, I think I'm leaning Swift and Hollywood right now because, listen, those guys will be out on the field for you, and I think that Swift will have an efficient season. It might not be a crazy season, but also too with Swift, monitor those games because if he has a big game or two in a row, then his value is really, really going to be high, especially for a running back position that, it's hard to find guys that are just consistently having good games. So I think you might be able to take advantage of a couple of good games in a row by him. Hopefully he doesn't get hurt. I know that's a big if. I was never a DeAndre Swift guy. But he was efficient late in the season, which I think hopefully gives the Lions, I talked about it before, where the Lions kind of found a little formula where he's getting like 12 to 15, opportunities a game as opposed to 20 to 25. So hopefully that's the formula. But I would lean Swift and Hollywood on this particular one.
Yeah, Hollywood. I mean, is bona fide wide receiver too. But I would say, like, at the 106, like, you just don't know who's going to be there. Like, I'd probably like to have JSN out of this deal if I had the 106. And then I would probably take that side. But what's the chances that JSN's actually going to be there at the 106? Like, I mean, I don't know who needs QBs in your league or, who may want to take JSN. So it's rough. You're gambling because if JSN is gone and Gibbs is gone, I guess then you could take the QB.
Then it's not.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, in the super flex.
it's rough. It's not bad. You can go either side. I think I'd just rather prefer the Swift and Hollywood because of the perceived value. And if Swift has a couple good games, you come off of him for a first for next year. Hollywood, like I said, I think he's one of those bona fide wide receiver too. So not bad either way. Also just shipped Akers away for a random 2024 first. Thought I did good. Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. I'll take that. I'll take that easily. That's good. That's good. That's a good trade there, bro. That is.
Yeah, for me, that's one of those situations, and we actually had some Akers questions in a couple of previous episodes, and we're like, "Yo, get what you can," and getting a first is kind of found gold at this point.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. I know we talked about Justin Fields the other day, and then right after that, DJ Moore gets traded.
Mm-hmm.
Panthers gave up a shit ton to move up. Now they have pretty much no wide receivers.
They got the number one pick.
So whatever QB they do get is going to be kind of screwed. But to be fair, I mean, to get a a quarterback for the future is, they don't come along easily. So I guess you gotta spend what you can. It just sucks for whoever's gonna wind up going there, Broly, what up, brother? Thanks for tuning in, man. But yeah, now Justin Fields, I think we talked about it. He was kind of in that like 5 to 10 range for most people, especially Dynasty Superflex. Do you think this moves him up now, or his value increases now that he actually gets a dang weapon?
I have to see it. It seems like they're trying to build like a wide receiver by committee. Obviously, they have Mooney. I know Mooney's coming off the injury. Claypool, remember they traded for Claypool. Now they have DJ Moore. Cole Kmet is solid at the tight end position. He came along during the season. So I don't know. I'm going to have to see it. I don't see him as that pure throwing kind of quarterback. He does remind me a little bit of Cam Newton in his style, where you're going to get some really, really good passing yardage games, but I think they'll be few and far between. Not always the most accurate guy, and I think he looks to take off and run before he throws. So I don't think that necessarily vaults DJ Moore any higher than he was last year or the year before that or the year before that. I think DJ Moore kind of is what he is. He's like a wide receiver too. Like a mid wide receiver too, in my estimation. He's going to make some plays. He's going to be able to get his numbers at the end of the year, but I don't know what the consistency looks like. That's what I worry about more than anything else. The consistent production. He'll make some plays, but I'm not sure it's going to be the consistent production people are looking for. So I'm not crazy about it. I have to see Justin Fields kind of really evolve as a passer. So it's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, I mean, in that 2021 season, Mooney had 80 for almost 1,100. Not the greatest, but finished as a wide receiver too. And DJ Moore consistently finishes as a wide receiver too. I think he's top 15, top 20 next year. I think he was already basically in that range. So, like you said, doesn't make him go crazy up, but he's going to be more productive, I think. Finally, Justin Fields gets a wide receiver 1 to go there with him. So at least he's got that. And on top of that, I mean, DJ Moore, since 2019, 8th in receiving yards, 8th in targets, 13th in catches. I mean, top 20 every season except for his rookie season. So, it looks better, and he's got a QB that's probably going to stay there. He's not going to have, QBs coming in and out like he's kind of been having in that shitty situation. But yeah, since 2019, I mean, almost 80 catches a year, 1,100 yards a year is his average. So I don't think it can get worse. You think it could get worse?
Yeah, I'm not saying it could get worse. I mean, DJ Moore never really. I'm not saying he's not a good talent. He just never did it for me. I never looked at him and was like, yeah, that's a guy that can be a needle mover on your team. Can he be a solid player? Sure. But the consistency comes and goes. Now, was that because of the quarterback situation? Yeah. I mean, I guess you could make that argument. But yeah, he's a solid wide receiver too. I have him more in the 15 to 20 range. Is that what you said?
Yeah, 15, 20. Yep.
Yeah,
realistically 15 to 20. He's got some upside, but I think realistically, you're looking at that 15 to 20 range. Could be 10 to 15 on a really good season, but
because that's where he's been, I mean, I'm just going based on our league. So the last 4 years, he's 24, 18, 23, and 16 in PPR. Mm-hmm. We don't have to go into the rookie year because we understand, but he just never really
1,200 yards, did it for me. 3 out of the last 4 seasons, 1,200 yards. I mean, at last year, I put it this way: if you look at like some of the other stats, and now transfer, where he's going to go now to Chicago, where he'll be, the number 1 guy, but 12th in target share, 17th in targets per route run, 12th in air yards,
but
1st in air yard share, 4th in deep targets, 7th in unrealized air yards, 5th in dominator rating. I mean,
That's
guy
fine.
is
That
dominating
doesn't.
for his team, and now he's going to get a chance to actually showcase that on with a quarterback that can actually hopefully anyway get him the ball
He's
more.
right. That's a key, right? Justin Fields accuracy comes and goes, and
But I think seeing
and
what
he's
Mooney did in that full season, obviously DJ Moore is way better athlete and wide receiver than Mooney.
maybe.
So I mean, realistically, I probably have him like 90 to 100 catches for like 1,300 yards. What do you have? Six
I don't know.
touchdowns last year. He could get 8 touchdowns this year.
7.
That'll put him in that top 10 to 15 range. I think that's definitely in the realm of possibility. So yeah, I like it. I love it for DJ Moore.
Yeah, I'm not crazy about it. I'm not going to overreact to it. You want to see it. I mean, the fact that it happened this early, even before the draft, was, I think, a good sign because they can get together, they can start working out, get on the same page. He could work with the rest of those wide receivers. Hopefully, really the big key here is I don't even think it's a question about DJ Moore and his talent. I think is Justin Fields going to take that next step as a quarterback. That's really the key because if he does,
I think he can. I think he has a chance to at least now. I mean, because don't forget, like especially once Mooney went down. I mean, he's throwing the ball to Felix Jones. I mean.
Yeah,
he didn't have a lot of weapons to work with on top of that. And Mooney's not a number one wide receiver. I think what they have now is almost perfect, where you have, you've got DJ Moore and Claypool pretty much on the outside, and then you've got Mooney. Or you can switch it up. You put DJ Moore in the slot because DJ Moore, you can move him around. That's the beautiful thing. He's quick. He's a quick route runner. He's good like that. So I like it for what they can do. They just gotta they gotta put it all together. I think the weapons are there, and like you said about the coaching thing the other day. Hopefully they can try and get DJ Moore the ball, and we don't see kind of what we saw in Carolina where it was just bullshit sometimes. But yeah, overall I do like it for him. I think that puts him right around like my top 15 dynasty wide receiver range. He was in that 15 to 20 already, maybe moves up a couple spots. Like you said, nothing crazy, but you love to see, that he finally has a chance to, because I think everybody pretty much, well, most people felt like DJ Moore has a chance to be like a number one wide receiver in fantasy, but he just hasn't had that opportunity, obviously. This gives him a little bit closer chance, but yeah, I think I've got him around that wide receiver 15 in Dynasty.
Yeah, I'm closer to the 20 range just because, like I said, I got to see the development of Justin Fields. But it looks like they're putting together a nice table. And don't forget, the Bears with that trade in that number 1 pick, they end up getting the number 9 pick. They get some assets, so there's still room to improve there. And I think the Bears have probably the highest amount of, or at least in the top 3 in terms of cap space for NFL franchises. So
as far as the trade, awesome. That's what you call an 8 to 10 in real life.
yeah. You found a desperate team who gave you an absolute haul, and you made it work. Hell yeah.
Oh yeah. Been toying with trading Cheetah for Amon-Ra St. Brown, contending team, 12-team Superflex, start 9. Yeah, I mean, Amon-Ra is a younger guy. He's my wide receiver, like 5A, 5B in Dynasty, because I have him and Waddle like together. So yeah, I mean, I'd rather have St. Brown because of the age. But if you're contending for that chip, and you want that possible 1,600, 1,700 yard season from a guy like Cheetah, all depends on what you want to do. For me, I just rather take St. Brown. The difference in points, I don't think will be the difference between you winning or losing the championship. So I'll take the younger asset. What do you think, Hammer?
I was getting ready to say I'm kind of leaning that way as well. I think Tyreek Hill is a needle mover, especially when he goes off. But I think the difference in per game points between Amon-Ra and Cheetah isn't such a huge gap where you'll take the much younger guy. So I would lean towards doing that deal just because you'll extend your window while not having as significant a drop off as it might look like just on face value.
Yeah, I'm not worried about JMO really taking much away.
No, there's plenty of there's plenty of football to go around there.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, I mean,
That's how I feel.
yeah, I got a bunch of trades that people sent, so we'll go over some of these trades now. We don't have all the context, so we'll try and do it the best we can here. But here we got Devontae, Lenny Fournette. The 101 is not the 101. It's actually the 106. He wrote on it. He said it's not the 101. It's the 106. So Devontae Adams, Lenny Fournette, and the 106 for AJ Brown and the 202.
It says he's trading 2 first rounders here. Oh, a
2024 first. Yeah, my bad. Yeah, so the 106 and a 2024 first. My bad. For AJ Brown and a 23 seconds. So
yeah, that's a lot, dude. That's a lot. Just if we're just gonna look at it on face value, I mean, I think Devontae Adams' stock might have taken a little bit of a hit because the Raiders don't. Now, listen, if if there's an announcement tomorrow that Aaron's going to the Raiders, then you feel a lot differently about Devontae Adams. Dynasty wise, maybe not as much, but I don't know, dude. I think I'm breaking it down into smaller pieces and not parsing. I think I'm breaking this down into smaller pieces and not giving up. Lenny Fournette, I don't care about. That means nothing to me in this trade. So it's essentially Devontae Adams for AJ Brown and then 2 first-round picks for an early second-round pick. I'm not doing that.
So you want to keep AJ Brown, or you want to keep Devontae? What side are you looking at?
Well, I would if so he's receiving, so he's sending AJ Brown and he's getting that back. Okay, I see which side we're on.
I think, I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm guessing, yeah.
Yeah, because it says
receives and sends. Yeah, this is yeah.
Oh,
I would
yeah,
say the 106 and the 24 first is probably
I think I'm
AJ Brown.
Yeah, I think I'm comfortable with that as well.
And then you got the 202 for Adams.
Yeah, I'm comfortable with receiving Devontae, but even still, I would, if you're going to trade AJ Brown and you're getting 2 first-round picks and Devontae Adams, I mean, AJ Brown's only 25. Devontae's going into his age 30.
Again, who's going to be there at that 106? I want it to be JSN. I need it to be, a top wide receiver. That would be nice. And you get JSN the 2024 first along with Devontae.
It just sucks without the context because we could see what the rest of your team looks like. That makes a huge difference. And I know you said we don't have a ton of context on these trades, but we'll try and take it as face value as much as possible. But the context really does matter because if you have other young, like if he's trading AJ Brown and say he has Amon-Ra or CD Lamb, then you're like,
no, I don't even care. I still probably wouldn't do that. I'd rather just keep. I don't know. I think I like the AJ Brown side because the 202, can you trade something else and the 202 to move up to the 106, 107? Like you can still probably get in that range without having to give up AJ Brown. I think that's I'm looking at the other side of it, but yeah, I think I don't know. I think I just like the age. I know that the assets are on the other side. Can you move Devontae for a late first? So then you got, the 106 and the 110 along with the 2024 first.
Well, it looks like the trade was already accepted on both sides.
No, I'm just saying in general. I'm just saying if you do have Devontae, then you could trade Devontae for a late first probably. I'm just trying to put all the assets together of like what can come out with this. So the assets is definitely on this side. I still probably think I want AJ Brown in the second because I'll probably just move up from the second if I could get into the first and keep AJ Brown. I think that's probably the route I'd like to go. But it's very close. That's
fine.
You could go either way. I can't complain if you like the other side. Assets are there.
I just truly wonder what Devontae Adams' real value is now with no Derek Carr. We don't know. Are they going with Stidham? May they get Aaron Rodgers? Are they gonna pick up Jimmy Garoppolo? Like that's rough.
Got to be at least a late first, you would think. You know, even at his age.
Damn, it's fucked up for Devontae. He went from Aaron to Derek Carr, which is a little bit of a step down, and then to nobody basically.
Oh God, this is actually an interesting one. ETN for Garrett Wilson. They're both like in the same range. This is just basically moving a running back to a receiver.
This is Garrett Wilson. I'm on the Garrett Wilson side every single time. Thank you.
Oh yeah, I like the Garrett Wilson side too. They're pretty much going in around the same area in draft.
But what do we say?
But we like the wide receivers better than the running backs, of course. So yeah, I'll take.
This is Garrett Wilson. It's not even close.
Take the Garrett Wilson side. And again, you know, like you said before, if there's more context, maybe you have a bunch of other wide receivers and you're able to move Garrett Wilson to receive ETN, then you know. Stephon Diggs and the 507. I didn't cross this out. My bad. For St. Brown. We just talked about, you know, St. Brown.
Yep.
And,
we're doing that. We're on the St. Brown side here. I think that's pretty easy.
Brown. Yeah, I'm taking the St. Brown side. We're not taking the Diggs side here. Mike Evans for Hines, Wan'Dale Robinson, and the 407.
Yeah, whatever you could get from Mike Evans is a bonus, it feels like at this point. So yeah, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, Wan'Dale's probably worth a mid-second still, maybe late second. Once he starts.
Yeah, I think I'm okay.
Again. So yeah.
You know what it is? You look at Mike Evans and you go, no way. But if you really actually dig deeper, then you're like, yeah, okay, I'll take it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take the Wan'Dale side there too. Here we go. DJ Moore for JMO.
This is a good one. This is a good one.
Really in that same range for me. As far as you know, where they are in my dynasty wide receivers. But yeah, you want JMO or you want DJ Moore?
Oh man. So there's really a case to be made for both. Oh yeah, right? There really is. You know, the case for JMO is he plays with a much more potent offense with a much more capable quarterback. But the case for DJ Moore is he's more proven. Mm-hmm. So I think I'm gonna go JMO here just because of the upside. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go JMO here just because of the upside. And once again, you reset the clock. You know, I know DJ Moore's not that old, but there is a significant age gap there where, you know, JMO only has room to grow in a really good offense with another true number one wide receiver on his other side. So I think I'm going to go JMO here and take the upside.
Yeah, I'm going to go opposite. I'm going to go DJ Moore.
Shocker.
I'm going to go DJ Moore. Well, I'll take the, you know, like you said, the proven, and then on top of that, the, you know, the better. Well, at least what I think is a better situation for DJ Moore on the move. But yeah,
that's not a bad one.
They're very close. So you can go either or on that. It just depends what you like better.
I think that's the best one we've had so far, just in terms of how close it is.
Yeah, right. I got a bunch more. Let's pull these bad boys up.
How old is JMO? I know it's only his second year.
22, maybe 21.
Yeah, 21. So, but I do like what the Lions are building, and if he could be a really integral part of that, you know, he's not going to be seeing number one coverage. That's going to go to Amon-Ra. Mm-hmm. Pretty high volume passing team with Jared Goff there. So, I think JMO has some really good upside.
Yeah, is it going to be? You know, is it going to be that boom bust? Like, does he have to catch the bomb? You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, no, absolutely.
Thing, of course,
I'm with you on that.
Worry about.
Yeah, that's a legitimate question.
Where you know that DJ Moore is going to at least give you wide receiver 2 production.
Steady.
So you want to take the chance on JMO, or even still, you know, how much better is JMO going to be than what DJ Moore is like already? Like, even if DJ Moore doesn't get better and he's still that wide receiver too. Like, is it going to be that big of a difference?
But also, too, I think when we were talking about context, that's really important in a trade like this, because if you have two other really good wide receivers on your team and you're going for upside, then I like it. If you're depending on JMO to be your wide receiver too, like, and say you have maybe a Hollywood Brown as your wide receiver 1 going into the season, then maybe I don't like it as much. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I think that's where the context and the roster construction comes into play. So you really have to weigh that out.
Definitely. I'm trying to get all the rest of the ones up here. All right. Alvin Kamara, Derrick Henry. Yeah, I'll take the Henry side. We don't know what's happening with Kamara.
Another really good one for all different reasons. They're just two aged running backs. Yeah, I'll lean towards Henry as well.
We don't really know what's going to happen with Kamara. But yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah, I'll lean Henry. I am worried about him breaking down, but there's so much unknown with Kamara. Obviously, his contract, obviously the legal situation that he's going to have to deal with. So yeah, give me some Henry, and listen, hey, if Henry has a good first half of the season, trade his ass. See what you could get.
Yeah, that's true. All right, this one we've got Gibby for a second and a third. 2024 second and a 25 third. All right, so these picks are out there. I think I'd rather have Gibby, because you got time to get a 2024 second and a 25 third. I'll take Gibby for right now. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm taking Gibby as well, just because in that Washington backfield, there's value for him there. So I like Gibby on this side just because of the value. And I think his value, once again, like I said about Henry, if Gibby has a really good half season, or if he has 2 or 3 really good games in a row, you can definitely get more value than than what you're getting there. So those draft picks are not needle movers, and I use that word a lot because that's what you're trying to do. When you're making these trades, you're trying to move the needle. So in my estimation, you're better off holding on to Gibby and seeing if you can increase his value.
Yeah, like I said, second and third, you got time to recoup that, or get that if you need to. You got plenty of time there. Here we've got Judy and the 207 for the 206 and the 205. Yeah, give me Judy and the 207.
Judy, it's not even close.
Yeah, give me Judy and the 207. I like that. We've got Dalvin Cook for the 210 and the 207. Yeah, give me the 2 pick.
Yeah, I think this is another hold for me. I think I'm staying with Dalvin and trying to increase his value. I know it could happen.
Not gonna increase.
It could. No, I'm saying what
for
you can do is in this particular season. So I'm holding on to Dalvin Cook, and I'm trying to, hopefully he has a good 3-4 game stretch, and maybe a contender comes along who's a piece away and will give you a back end one, right? Or a front end 2. Say the 2-2. That's what I'm saying. So I'd rather hold on to Dalvin and see if a contender will come along maybe and offer me something a little bit better.
But that's the problem, is that Dalvin Cook has to actually be playing well and be worth that. There's a chance that doesn't happen, right?
I get it. I'm willing to take that risk.
And the 207 and the 210, you could probably move those for the 202 or for early second anyway. So it's almost the same, if it works out good. Or not, whether you do it now or later, but you are taking that chance. What if they don't re-sign Dalvin Cook or he goes somewhere else?
Yeah.
What if they do and they do draft a guy and he's the next guy, they're giving Dalvin less work? It could get worse, and in that case, you're probably only going to get 1 second. But the fact that you can get 2, I think I like that, because you can attach something to those and get 2 early seconds if you want. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine with that either way. I would be on the hold side and
Yeah.
see if I could get a little more, or maybe even if I attach something to Dalvin and get something even better in return.
Yeah, that's true too. That's
So
true. And
use him
again,
as kind of.
and again, it also, depends on that situation, right? If you're, trying to win
Mhm.
now, you might just want to hold on to, Dalvin Cook and hope for the best. But it all depends. I'll take the picks regardless whether I'm contending or not. Fuck it. Here's another Dalvin Cook and Madison both. Oh wow, you got the 104 a second and $25 worth of fab. Yeah, I'll take the 104 in the second easily. I
Yeah,
think on
that's
this
worth it.
one.
That's
Yeah,
worth it to me.
yeah, the fabs are right.
Um,
That's just extra added in there. But yeah, Dalvin and Madison, you get the 104 and the second for 2024. Yeah, I'll take that.
yeah, I'm comfortable with that as well.
I will take that. Oops. We got in this one, all right, Gerald Everett, Alan Lazard, Pacheco, and a 2023 second. I think I have uh, more context on this one. I think. Hold on. I think I have what second and what first that is. For McBride and a 2023 first. Here we go. So that's the 1-9 and the 2-2. So the 2-2, Pacheco, Lazard, and Everett for McBride, and the 109.
No, I'm on the Everett Lazard Pacheco side right now. I would try and break this down a little more, like I said before, and parse it, because I think if you break it down more, you might be able to get a little bit more. McBride doesn't really move the needle for me that much. The 2023 first is nice, so it's the 109 you said.
Yeah, it's a 109, but the second is the 202. So I love it for the Everett Lazard Pacheco side, like you said. You're only moving down a couple slots.
Right, right. I'm on the Everett Pacheco Lazard side on this one because there's still some value there for those guys.
Yeah, you're moving down a few slots. The 1-9 to the 2-2 is not a crazy big difference. Plus, you're getting some of these other guys. Not that they're the greatest in the world, but
You
they've
get
got a
depth,
little bit of
and
value. I mean, I
there's
would rather have McBride than Everett, but at the same time, you're getting the Lazard, you're getting Pacheco, so you can move those guys if you want. Lazard may end up in a nice spot. Who knows?
yeah, there's still some good value there, and I think Lazard is a real solid flex play, depending on where he goes. So yeah, I like that side. There's just too much value on that side just for a tight end at a shallow position, and not only moving down, a few
5
spots.
slots. Yeah, we're moving down a few slots, so we'll take that. All right, we've got Tyquan Thornton.
This looks like a Herschel Walker kind of deal.
Tyquan Thornton, the 109, the 2024 first, the 2023 204, 2023 304 for the 102.
I think I'm taking the 102, man, and just getting that generational talent, whatever it might be. If it's a super flex, then you could get Bijan, you could get JSN, you could get, you kind of got your pick of the litter for the most part. That's a lot, man. That is a lot, actually.
You get the 109, you get the 24 first for next year.
Tough.
It's a random 24 first, so let's just say it's back end. You get 2 back end first for the 102. I think we need man, it's tough. If it's super flex, start 10.
That's a hell of a haul.
I think I'm still keeping the 102. Depends what you need as well. Like, can you move? Can you move the 109 in the 2024 first for the 104, 105? Get back in the first round, and you still have those picks. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So you can still make more moves off of this. So yeah.
That's a tough one. That really is, just because, as we talked about, the context definitely matters. And I think, that 102 is mighty fucking tasty up there because you're getting your guy, essentially.
Yeah. All right. So if it's one QB, I think I'm taking the 102 if it's one QB.
Mm-hmm.
I think I can say that. What do you think about that? Let's just say if it was one QB.
Yeah.
Because I don't think you get as much value with the 109, the random 24 first, the 204, and the 304. I don't think they're as valuable when it's not, if it's not super flex, especially this year.
Mm-hmm.
We got all the QBs going to be, moving up the board. So, all right. So one QB, I'm going to take the 102 side. One QB, what side you taking?
Yeah, I guess it would be the 102 because, like you said, if it's only one QB, then after really the 103, the 104, then you're like, it's a crapshoot.
Yeah.
For the rest of those first round picks, and you said, the 2024 is random.
All right. So now the next question is, if it's super flex, does that change much?
Sure, it changes the value of the 109. 100% it does. So I think that's the route.
24 first.
Yeah, that's the route. That's the kind of context you have to put on it. Is, if it's one QB, then you're taking the 22, the 102. If it's super flex, then maybe you go to the other side.
Well, let's just say the 102 is a QB, obviously. Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, whatever, Anthony Richardson, who knows?
Mm-hmm.
Is that are they worth a late first and a random 24 first?
Potentially.
And a 23 second? Yeah, I guess. Yeah, this is real.
Potentially.
It's a good one. It's a good one. What y'all think watching out there? Which side are y'all taking on this? You taking the 102 or are you taking the package?
The context definitely makes the entire argument, right?
Yeah.
The breakdown of the league, super flex, start 9, start 10, etc. Because then, like you said, super flex, the 109 side becomes a little more valuable.
I think I still like the 102 unless you're rebuilding. So if you're rebuilding, then I think you probably might have to take the pick side. But I don't know, man. This is tough. Damn, I can't. I'm just laughing. I can't. I don't know.
Going back and forth on it.
Yeah. Can you move up from the 109 at that point? Especially with some of the extra assets you'd have. I think that's probably the route I would go if I had to. Yeah, I'd probably take it and then move up from the 109 if I could. Give up the 109 and an asset and move into one of the top 6 picks, and then I'll take whoever else is there.
Yeah, it's tough. Definitely tough.
I think that's what I'd probably try to do as possible. I'm trying to see if I got any more. I think. Let's see if we got any more real quick. Oh, I do have more. All right, these ones I can't pull up on the screen. So, gave up the 101, Trey Lance, and Kadarius Toney, and Mechie for Amon-Ra St. Brown, Kyler Murray, and the 109.
Yeah, give me Amon-Ra, Kyler Murray, and the 109.
Yeah, I'll take Amon-Ra. I'll take Kyler Murray over the 101. Oh, and you're getting the 101. Yeah. That's easily Amon-Ra side. I like that. I like that a lot. So he gets Amon-Ra, Kyler Murray, and the 109. Gave up 101, Trey Lance, Toney, and Mechie. 111 for Rashard Bateman and the 202 in a 1 QB league. Yeah, give me the Bateman and the 202. You move back 3 slots.
Yep. And you get a free asset, basically.
Hell yeah, I'll take that. This one's a good one. I'll let you do this one first. Receive Amon-Ra St. Brown and give up Javonte.
Oh, yeah, because you're taking the wide receiver. Javonte's coming off an injury, so it might be another full season before he's actually back. And then And then you find yourself in the same Saquon situation where they may franchise tag him. They may, was Javonte a first round pick? So they might be able to give him that.
I think it was an early second, like 202
right.
or 203 or something like that.
Right. So there's no 5th-year option there.
No.
So give me Amon-Ra and run for the hills.
10-man, 1 QB. Traded Austin Eckler, the 107 and the 108 for Kenny Walker and the 103. That's 8 to 10. It's 8 to 10, baby.
Yeah, Kenny Walker and the 103. That is bomb.
Yeah, give me Kenny Walker and the 103.
That is bomb.
That's 1 QB, so that's also Gibbs or JSN or whatever way you want to slice it. So yeah, almost I like that.
And you're resetting the clock on your running back situation, plus adding a top 3. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yep. I think that's it. I think that's all the trade. That was a lot of trades. That was probably like 20 trades or so. Any other trades or anything y'all got you want to throw out there? What else has been happening in the world? We talked about the Fields and DJ Moore. Rams trading Ramsey to the Finns. Doesn't mean much for us in fantasy terms unless you play IDP, which he wasn't bad. He was so bad of a corner covering that he was actually good for IDP because he had to tackle everybody that caught the ball.
He kept getting people thrown his way. That actually does work to your advantage if you're a terrible corner because you get a lot of opportunities.
Yep. Commanders sign Payne to a $90 million deal. All right. Jets keep linebacker Williams for 3 years. Yeah. All right. Shepard, new deal. Staying with the Giants. What did they give him? What? 1 year. Okay, it's a 1 year. It's a 1 year.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's trash. He'll be hurt. He'll miss 8 games, and that'll be that. I mean, I like Sterling Shepard. I really do, especially his first 2 years. I thought he was really going to be like that really good slot butting kind of guy, but just wasn't having it. It just didn't happen. He kept getting hurt. So no, thank you.
Any free agent predictions? A lot of running backs available. I have no clue. I mean, let's put it this way: the Bills need a running back. The Dolphins need a running back. Patriots probably are going to add somebody with Stevenson. Jets don't really need anybody. Baltimore, not necessarily. The Bengals could add somebody with the whole Joe Mixon fucking shabacle. The Browns, Kareem Hunt is going away. I mean, who knows how long Chubb is going to last. Texans, do they want to bring somebody in with Damian Pierce?
The Raiders.
Broncos just released Chase Edmonds. I mean, they've got nobody but Javonte. Is Javonte really going to be ready for the start of the season? I don't know.
The Raiders franchise tag Josh Jacobs.
Raiders franchise tag Josh Jacobs, so that's good. Chiefs, they could probably add somebody. I mean, Chargers, Cardinals. Right? I mean, there's a ton of teams. It's so hard. I don't really have any predict. Let's see who the actual running back free agents are. Let me pull that up.
See the thing with the running backs, especially with the free agents, it's one of those things where, like we said, running backs are so devalued that it's tough because every team is looking to. I think more teams are looking to draft running backs in the 3rd round and beyond, as opposed to signing a big free agent running back to a deal. You know what I mean? Why do that when you could just reset the clock on a running back?
Yeah. And I mean, look, there's not that much, right? Tony Pollard just got tagged, right?
Franchise. Zeke restructured.
Chase Edmonds out there. Kareem Hunt.
I think Hunt would be the biggest addition, in my estimation.
I could see Hunt going. Let's see. Hunt. Dolphins. Wouldn't be bad.
Well, Dolphins, I know they're still in talks to bring back Jeff Wilson as well.
Yeah, they're definitely going to add somebody, whether it's free agent or the draft. And do the Texans bring in a guy like Hunt? I don't know.
A higher price veteran guy and a kind of a rebuilding team.
I would probably bet on Jamal Williams going back to the Lions. He's not going to cost much. That's definitely probably a possibility, but who knows? Foreman, does he go back to Carolina? Do they draft somebody, or do they do both? I mean, probably should be relatively cheap.
Yeah, the market for free agent running backs
Sanders, there you go. Miles Sanders is probably.
That's a big one. Yeah.
Where does Miles Sanders go? Where do you think a good spot for Sanders would be?
Denver. Javonte.
They might have. I don't know if they have to pay him too much though. I don't know. Do you want to? You have Javonte. Do you want to bring in a guy like Miles Sanders or get somebody cheaper? Like, I don't know. That's rough. Possibility though. What about Chicago? I mean, who's going there?
What are they doing with Monty?
Damian Harris will get some love. Yeah, I mean, all these guys will get some love somewhere. I don't really I don't have any inside scoops. I don't have any even kind of real good guesses of where some of these guys could possibly go.
Right, just because the market for running backs, like I said, a lot of teams would rather just draft a guy than have to pay a free agent price.
Especially in Dynasty, I just stay away from running backs. Like, I haven't drafted a running back yet in this one Dynasty this Dynasty league I'm in right now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I have some draft picks. I'll probably use one of those second-round draft picks for a running back, but I haven't actually drafted any because I don't know what the hell is going to happen. I don't want to waste my pick on something that just gets erased because of free agent signing or somebody gets drafted in the draft. So, a lot of these guys will have chances. We don't know where. Damian Harris will get some love. Yeah, I mean, but what is he ever going to be again? Like, there's no running back out there that's going to wind up being a number one running back or a number one or a top 12.
No, I agree.
There's nobody out there. I wouldn't probably not even top 15, top 20. I would say probably even
Miles Sanders might be the only one that
Miles Sanders. You can make that argument. But again,
where does he go?
He's got to get the work. He's got to get the workload. Like, and he didn't even get the workload on the Eagles, but obviously that was crazy.
But he had a really good. He had a really good season.
Yeah, that was just a great offense they were on. I don't. What if he goes to the Bengals?
Yeah.
That's actually a pretty decent spot. So in that case, that'd be a possibility. But other than that, there's not really much out there. So a lot of these guys just stash them on your bench. I know you already probably saw the RB stash videos I put out, Kevin, a while back. So you could look at those and kind of just stash some guys. But I don't really got anybody in particular. I'm not even really looking much into it because I just don't know. And I don't want to take that chance. I don't want to, just if you like any of these guys, just stash them on the bench. Hopefully they can get you a draft pick if they will end up finding a role in an offense somewhere. That's pretty much what I do is just use them as draft capital during the season, if you can, anyway. But yeah. I don't really got anything else in particular. You got anything talk about here, Hammer?
Nah, I think the biggest news between Thursday's show and today was the Bears Panthers move. I think that was the biggest needle mover. And we're about a month out from the draft. When is the draft exactly? I know free agent's supposed to kick in, and I know Aaron Rodgers is that news is supposed to drop. So I'm pretty sure by Thursday next Thursday we'll have some massive news to jump into. So that should be a big
tomorrow,
cycle.
When is it open? Is it tomorrow? I think free agency opens.
I'm not even sure.
When does this shit open? In this free agency, why can't I get a fucking answer?
Oh yeah, the NFL draft is late April. So about 6 weeks out.
20 something usually. All right, so Wednesday, March 15th is the official open of free agency.
Mm-hmm.
But I hear something about tomorrow. I think they could start talking to people tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, like the tampering period.
48 hours prior to the start of free agency, teams can begin to negotiate. So starting tomorrow, we should be hearing a lot of shit. No? Or is that Wednesday? Or is that Wednesday that starts and then what the fuck? Why am I?
Well, I know there's a tampering period.
Come on, bro. Seriously? See if there's any latest rumor. No, we saw that already. Bills extended Milano. Yeah. But speaking of the Panthers trade, who do you think that they are drafting? There was a rumor that they might trade back down a little bit to pick up, to recoup some of the assets that they spent. I don't know if they really had to give up DJ Moore. Like, do you think they gave up what? The 109, a 23 first, and a 24 second, I think, or something like that?
Mm-hmm. And DJ Moore.
And DJ Moore? I don't know. I just feel like that was a lot.
Yeah, that seemed a bit excessive in my estimation. But they usually, I mean, it also depends on what the value of that number one pick was to Carolina.
Franchise QB, I guess. Who should they go with? They got a choice now.
I would take CJ Stroud.
Probably the safest.
And that seems like the right way to go. Especially if you don't have anybody to throw to per se, you kind of want a quarterback that's at least going to be stout.
Reich there? Wasn't he the one that had right? Isn't Frank Reich Frank Reich the GM?
I have no idea what's going on in Carolina.
Yeah, he used to be the Colts GM.
Yeah, I remember him on the Colts. But yeah, I mean, listen, if you're Carolina, you're trying to go out there and get that guy. It kind of reminds me of what the Colts did with Andrew Luck, right? When they transitioned from Peyton Manning. You get that guy in place and then you figure everything else out later. I mean, it worked out for the Colts for 5 or 6 years, but, obviously we know how that turned out.
Well, I mean, I think, they had their guy in Andrew Luck, and that kind of just fucked everything. And from that, I mean, they haven't been anything since then, really.
Haven't been the same since. Because the people don't understand how hitting or not hitting, for that matter, on that number one pick sets you back.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think that, it's either going to be CJ Stroud or Anthony Richardson, I think, honestly. It's going to suck for whoever goes there at least the first year. It's going to suck even more for Anthony Richardson because he's going to have, no weapons or anything. But maybe that's what they want. Maybe they want him to sit for a year or two. I don't know. Maybe that's the way they looked at it. Or did they just go with CJ Stroud and say, fuck it, we want the guy that can throw the ball.
Mm-hmm.
And we have time now to build around him. It's okay. We spent what we had to spend to get our franchise QB for the next 15 years. So yeah, I think I do like the CJ Stroud idea.
And also too, remember
with wide receivers. I mean, you got Terrence Marshall and Shai Smith. I mean, yeah,
that's not good. That's not good. But maybe it's gonna be tough to convince free agents to go there this particular season. So, hey, maybe they hit on some of their later round draft picks, wide receivers. Maybe you get a second or a third round wide receiver, and you have a chance for them to develop. So, that Carolina situation is going to be rough, but who knows? Maybe they treat it like a Jacksonville situation where you kind of pretty much tank in the first year, and then you have that number one quarterback, and then you go into next offseason with a ton of money and a top draft pick. Maybe you get yourself a wide receiver.
Well, that's the thing. They gave up that's what I said at first.
Oh, next year's first, right?
That's what that's my initial thought was. All right,
wasn't it next year's second?
Oh yeah, it was no. Did they? I think they gave up next. They had to give up next year's first too. Let me see.
I thought it was next year's second. You said.
And I thought it was too. It might have been a first and a second. I don't know. Hold on. Let me see. Hold up. Trade here. One this year. There's second next year. Oh, the first was a 2024. Okay, and a 25 second as well. Shit. All right. So it wasn't so 2024 first. Yep.
Damn. That's a boatload, dude.
That's what I was. That at first, my initial thought was, all right, they might suck this year, perfect. Then they draft, they draft C.J. Stroud this year. Next year, they draft fucking Marvin Harrison Jr. But that's not a possibility now if they gave up that pick.
Yeah, and it's even worse now because think about it. They moved up from the 9th pick to the 1st and gave up so much.
I mean, you got to because of the other quarterbacks that are there and the other teams that need quarterbacks. So it's either, we need to fix our franchise. So we're just going to take, the 4th best one, let everybody else take, pick their guys first and take what's left, or ourselves in a position where we control whether we fuck up or not. Let's take the guy that we want and, and
go from there.
So. Yeah, I mean, it was good for both teams. It was just obviously it's a lot, but is it a lot to give up to actually get your QB for the next 15 years if he turns out to be everything that of course we think they could be. So
yeah, that's rough. It's a hell of a lot to give up.
Damn, it is. Because I mean, they could have even got screwed out with no quarterback almost with some of the teams. I think,
100%.
There, you don't really want that to happen. Unless you want to wait another year and wait for the Caleb Williams and the Drake Mays.
Yeah, but then your quarterback's taking a beating. His confidence is probably shot.
Yeah, it's gonna be. All right, yeah, I think that's what we got for tonight. Went over a bunch of trades. DJ Moore, Justin Fields, and we'll be back. We'll be back Thursday on Hustlers Network. We'll be back Wednesday. We'll be doing another Dynasty mock draft. So if y'all want to tune into that, just make sure y'all follow it on Instagram, Dynasty Life Fantasy. I always post it there first, so you could get in that with me, and we'll have some fun on Wednesday. But other than that, I think we up out of here. Anything else, Hammer?
Nah, man. Just slowly waiting for that. It's a good feeling because the clock's finally turned ahead. So you're looking forward to the spring.
Are we going ahead? Is that what it is? So we lose?
Yeah, we already did. It happened last night.
We did already. Oh fuck! That's how lost I am.
Yeah, it happened last night. So get it together.
No wonder I was a little tired. All right.
Yeah. Bro, I took a nap. We drove to Philadelphia today just to kind of go out and whatever. And we came back and I was exhausted, dude. Like I was shot. I slept for like 2 hours and then I woke up and I saw the notification like, bro, get your ass on the computer. So I'm like, all right, cool. But yeah, I was tired, bro. I woke up at like 9:15 and I was like, what?
I actually took a nap in the middle of the day. I took a nap like 3:30. I was supposed to just take a nap only till like 5, but I wound up not getting up to like 6:30.
Crazy.
Like fuck.
But yeah.
All right, y'all. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see y'all next week, Wednesday. Peace.